I wasn't looking for anything. I was just trying to pass time between being fine and falling apart. It was supposed to be temporary. The job, the city, the way I floated between small routines and long silences. I didn't know anyone, didn't need to. That Sunday, the streets were strange, quieter than usual, but not empty, like something had just stepped out of view. I followed a handwritten sign on a lamppost. Market today, one day only side entrance. Curiosity isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just the way your feet move before your mind does. The market was in the basement of an old bank. No vendors on Instagram, no music, no line. The lights flickered like breath. Each stall had one item. A letter, a box, a recording. And behind each, someone who watched you like they already knew your story. I stopped at the fourth stall on the left. The woman didn't ask what I wanted. She said my name. "You left something behind in 2009, she said. "Here." She handed me a jar. Small, smooth. Something you'd expect to find filled with honey or herbs. But inside was sound. I could see it somehow, curling like smoke against the glass. "It's yours," she said. Unspoken words still echo. I hadn't even spoken yet, and already I felt exposed. Then I heard it. My voice, from back then. Not today, me, but then me. "Please don't go. I didn't mean it. I'm just scared you'll forget me first." It wasn't loud, but it echoed. In my ears, in my ribs, in the marrow of what I used to be. "You can carry it," she said, "or let it go. But if you buy it, it will find its way out." "What do you mean?" She looked at me softly. "Unsaid things don't stay quiet forever." I took it, paid in cash. She didn't count it. The city outside felt louder, brighter, but inside the jar, my voice still stirred, like something waking up. That night I dreamed of her, the one I lost. But this time, she turned around, and I said something. The first time it slipped out. I wasn't even talking to anyone. The jar stayed on my nightstand. I hadn't opened it. Didn't need to. The memory had already reattached itself to me. But it didn't stay put. 3 days later, I was walking past a cashier who smiled too brightly. And out of my mouth came the words, "You don't have to pretend it's okay." I didn't mean to say it. I didn't even think it. It just happened. The cashier froze, laughed politely, moved on. But something in her eyes told me she heard it differently. At first, I chalked it up to exhaustion. Too much coffee. Not enough sleep. Stress dreams leaking into the day. But then it happened again. At the bus stop. A stranger dropped their bag, and I said, "You never deserve what he did to you." They looked up like I'd just told them their own password. "What did you say?" I apologized. Blamed it on a podcast. Walked away fast. That night I sat with the jar in both hands and whispered, "What are you doing to me?" No answer. Just a quiet slosh of memory pressing against glass. I returned to the market the next morning. This time it looked different. Less ordinary. More like what I felt it looked like the first time. The stalls were still there, but some had moved. Others were covered now, like they were grieving. And the lavender woman was gone. The man at the corner stall looked up. His table held only a tape recorder. He nodded once. "She's not here. You'll have to deal with what you bought." "I didn't know it would do this," I said. "No one does. Until they carry too many." "Too many what?" "Unspoken truths. But they're mine." He leaned forward. "They were. Until you sold them." I turned to leave. But he called out one more time. Did you think it would stay inside you forever? All that you swallowed? What you buy back from silence always demands to be heard. That night I woke up speaking. Not yelling, not dreaming. Speaking. Clear, calm, sad. Words I never said to a friend before she left the country. Words I should have said the night before my father's stroke. I spoke them all. My voice didn't tremble, but my body did. I was becoming an echo of what I never released. Some memories don't come back gently. Some arrive like they've been waiting to hurt you. I couldn't stop going back. The market felt different every time. Sometimes it was tucked behind a car wash. Once it was down an alley that hadn't existed the day before. But it was always there, like it was following me. Or maybe I was following it. Each visit, I bought another thing I never said. A whisper I choked down. An apology I buried. A scream I bit into the pillow. They came in all shapes. A slip of paper. A stone. A button from a coat I hadn't seen in years. Each one made me lighter and heavier. Then I saw it. A small black cassette on a velvet cloth. No vendor at the stall. Just a tape and a card. It read, "The silence after the suicide. You were home. You knew. I stood there too long. The air got tight in my lungs. I took it. No one asked for payment. Maybe the cost had already been decided. The tape didn't play on any recorder. But I didn't need it to. The moment I got home, I could hear it. Not sound, not words. Absence. The space where my voice should have been. The phone call I didn't make. The question I didn't ask. The visit I skipped. It started small, static in my headphones. My name whispered when I turned off the shower. Messages on my voicemail from numbers that didn't exist. Then came the voices. Not mine. Theirs. You knew something was wrong. You didn't say anything. Why didn't you try harder? They came from radios, from strangers on buses, speaking in sentences I recognized. I turned off the lights, unplugged everything. The silence stayed. One night I caught myself standing outside my old apartment. From before, where it happened. I don't remember walking there. I don't even live in that neighborhood anymore. My feet were bare, it was raining, and still the cassette was in my hand. Dry, warm, humming. I screamed into the night. Not words, not confessions, just everything that had been trying to get out of me. The sound shattered something in the dark, and for a moment, I thought it was gone. But when I got home, my voicemail light was blinking. Just one message. You can't return this one. You think you're coming back to fix it. But the market, it's not a church. It's a mirror. I went back to return it. The cassette. The tape I never should have taken. The sound that wasn't a sound. The silence that screamed. I walked the entire city that morning. Tried every shortcut I'd ever known. But the market didn't appear. For the first time, it hid from me. 3 days later, I found it. By accident. Or maybe because it finally allowed me back in. But something had changed. The tents were darker. The lights, colder. The quiet wasn't peaceful anymore. It was watching me. I walked past the store where I once bought a whisper. Now covered. Not with cloth, with mirrors. Each one angled slightly, like they didn't want to show me the full truth. At the far end, I found the vendor with the tape recorder. He didn't look up. I placed the cassette gently on his table. I can't carry this one, I said. He didn't move. You can keep the money. Still nothing. Please, I whispered. I didn't know what I was taking. His hand moved, slow and deliberate, and pushed the cassette back toward me. "The market doesn't sell forgetting," he said. I turned to another stall, one I hadn't seen before. Inside, a woman was weeping softly. The object on her table was a single Polaroid, burned around the edges. She held her stomach like she was trying to hold something in. "Can I trade?" I asked. She didn't look at me, didn't blink, didn't speak. I went from stall to stall, begging, bartering. One vendor had a sealed envelope labelled, "Things left unsaid to your sister." Another held a snow globe that rattled with, "The goodbye you couldn't make yourself say." They all turned their backs to me. "Please," I whispered, "please let me give it back." But the stalls began closing, curtains drawn, lamps extinguished. One whispered, just before shutting me out, "You've said too much now. It can't go back in." I stood alone, cassette in hand, market closing around me like a mouth preparing to swallow. When I got home, I didn't dream that night, didn't sleep, but I heard something. My own voice, on repeat, saying the thing I never said, the warning I never gave, the truth I never had the guts to speak. It filled the room like fog, soft at first, then louder, then louder. Not everything you didn't say was a mistake. Some silences were survival. Some were mercy. I stopped trying to give the cassette back, but it didn't stop speaking. It played in moments. Silence should have been safe. During deep breaths, in long blinks, when my head leaned back against the wall in the shower. Not screaming, not accusing, just my voice. From years ago, unsteady, younger, still hoping I'd grow into the kind of person who knew how to love out loud. I stopped going to the market. I deleted the maps, tore the signs, avoided alleyways and wrong turns. But sometimes I still heard the click of jars, the rustle of unspoken things, even in laughter, even in kindness, even in music, especially in music. One night, months later, I passed a bookstore I used to visit with someone I haven't spoken to in years. A light was on. The shop was closed. But inside I saw her. Not a real her, but memory shaped by longing. She turned, smiled, held something in her hands. A jar. And I remembered something, but not all words heal when spoken. Some only tear wider what was trying to scar over. Some stories need to stay inside the body, to decay quietly, to dissolve, to become something else. Not every silence is regret. Some are mercy, dressed in stillness. That night I walked home lighter, not healed, not fixed, but willing to live with the echo. The cassette still sat on my shelf, untouched, unplayed, but not ignored. I stopped screaming into the dark. Now, a whisper into it. Let it echo back. Let it change shape. Let it become mine again. The market never really saw what you should have said. It just showed you what still remained.